Yes, just be careful without pressing the yellow button, because otherwise we'll close the event for everyone. We cannot go back. So just be careful. If you want to exit, it's the red one. Thank you.
Great. So are we ready to start? We are a couple of minutes after 11. Okay, great. So welcome everyone. Good morning. Welcome to the first Appraise webinar, Accelerate Industrial Innovation with XR. This is the goal of the project. Thank you all for joining us today. My name is Ioannis Hadjiannakis, and I will be your host and coordinator for this session. Over the next 75 minutes, we will explore how extended reality is moving beyond experimentation. We are going to see real industrial use cases, and in general, how XR can expand any organization's potential by delivering innovation projects faster and more efficient than ever. The webinar, as I said, is organized within the Appraise project, and we believe that it has an excellent lineup of speakers from across the research industry and academia. So first, we will start with Gustavo Marfia from the University of Bologna. We will set the stage for building skills for XR-driven manufacturing. He will present to us the Appraise project. Then it's Marco Sacco, Research Director at CNR. He will speak on how XR accelerates industrial innovation. Marco is leading various developments in Italy about bringing together the XR community. Then we will hear from Alessandro Zara. Alessandro is the CEO of Experience, and how to drive industrial innovation through XR, from remote support to immersive operational workflows. And then we will go to Thierry Koscielniak from Ensemble. Till now, he was known as the Mr. Metaverse. I think now it's appropriate to switch to Mr. Virtual Worlds. He will give us an important insights on how integrating XR into education and the benefits of virtual worlds. Finally, Alessandro Pollini from Sapienza Design Research will offer a preview of this advanced course on XR-driven design thinking methodology and innovation. This is a 16-week learning journey for innovation leaders. It's blending the latest immersive technologies, and it's being developed in partnership between Sapienza Design Research and the 8 Manufacturing South. At the end, we will conclude with a roundtable discussion. Of course, if you have any questions, please use this Q&A feature, and we will be happy to respond to them and discuss all together. With that, I don't want to take more time. Let's get started with Gustavo. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Ioannis, for the excellent introduction. I will be introducing Appraise and introducing how Appraise fits inside this vision of building skills for XR-driven manufacturing. First, a few words regarding the scenario we're moving in. So we are in a scenario where there are currently different adoption signals for XR. We can mention one we see here on this slide. For example, the possibility of testing in a safe environment is something that would happen in the real world. So we have different terminologies used. We talk about digital twins, so emulation of what happens in the real world using a digital model. But XR gives us the possibility of actually seeing, experimenting, and taking part into something that may happen in the future or is really happening, and doing this in a safe manner. So this is clearly a great opportunity, an extremely great opportunity for both skill building in an industrial setting, but also for an educational setting. I am a lecturer in a university, and we know how important is not transfer only information, but actual skills to our students. And XR may really represent a way of transferring these skills and actually testing and learning as doing, both within the educational and within the manufacturing world. So what we want to do, and then I'll give you a few figures regarding appraise, but the scenario we will be moving in is try to create an ecosystem where XR becomes a building block in this educational pathway, so that gets, as I was saying, to the creation of a skill set. So we won't be talking about experimentation anymore. So we are all knowledgeable about, and we probably all have seen at some point of our careers, some POC where XR is used. Appraise is a European project. I will give you the details, as I said before, in a few slides. But in this European project, what we will be doing will be introducing and using in a definite way XR in order to build a skill set. So this is something that wants to go beyond experimentation. It wants to become something that will be actually part of our educational pathways. Um, so, as I was mentioning, we want to go beyond this idea of I am introducing XR, so the starting point is a headset purchase. No, what we want to do is actually consider all the profiles that are involved in the creation of these educational pathways. And this is an extremely complex scenario, as you all know, because it's not only about creating 3D content, for example, it's not only about delivering visuals or audio in a spatial way. It actually means finding relevant scenarios, relevant use cases where there can be a real advantage of the use of XR compared to more traditional ways. So this means actually understanding what the learning path is, actually understanding what the possible outcome may be. And this, since we're considering XR, so XR as an umbrella term that doesn't keep inside only virtual reality, augmented reality, mixed reality, and so on, and there is clearly the role of artificial intelligence in all of this. So it's an extremely complex scenario, an extremely complex scenario where we want to put different domains. Clearly, manufacturing is one of these, but appraise is including also other domains from humanities to health. So it's a quite complex ecosystem also from the point of view of the educational pathways that are involved. And this means really working with groups of expertise and diverse expertise at an educational level, at a technical level, in order to reach a final goal. So, as I was mentioning here, is not just about 3D art, and we can see really this T shape where on one side we need to have a deep knowledge on the technical part, and this is guaranteed by the technical partners that are involved in this project, but also a broad vision, a broad strategy on how this content, how this new way of delivering content may be implemented. And again, thanks to the diverse platform that is involved in Appraise, this is also guaranteed. And so the idea is really covering, so not seeing this new proposal, this new educational path as just an experimentation or a transfer of single pieces of knowledge, but what we are doing, what we hope we will be able to do with this project is actually implement a complex ecosystem where different skill sets will be involved and represented inside the project. So just to give a few numbers on Upraise. Upraise is a European project funded under the Digital Europe initiative. It started on the 1st of October. It has an ending date for the 30th of September 29. And it involves 26 partners, 7 associated partners, and 11 countries. Of all these partners, we have 13 higher education institutions involved, and this is the group of higher education institutions that you see span from east to west, from north to south of Europe. So it's a complex ecosystem, not only in terms of skill set and technologies that are involved, but also in terms of the geography of the partners that are involved. One very important, relevant aspect in the project is the participation of industrial players that clearly bring into the project the interest for building skill sets, for example, in manufacturing, using XR technologies. Some important companies in manufacturing are represented in the consortium and are providing their insights and their requirements inside the consortium. And another important pillar of this project has to do with the connection with both education and industry through the hubs and RTOs and VETs organizations, because these are helping to understand what is the environment we are moving on, bottom up, understanding which are the skill sets, which are the needs, and which are the opportunities that may be seen with the use of XR in really different domains. So manufacturing is clearly a core domain I was talking about, but we go to humanities, to healthcare, just to mention a few more. So why Appraise? Appraise has this goal of using virtual worlds to transform how people may learn, work, and interact. The approach is not an approach of substitution. We don't want to use virtual worlds where they are not needed. We want to use virtual worlds where paradigms like learning by doing, collaboration, embodiment, um, being able to participate in the same environment also from remote locations may actually bring an advantage. Clearly, these are extremely complex technologies that so combine XR, but within XR we also have AI, digital twins, data spaces, eventually blockchain and cloud computing or edge computing. So basically all the cutting edge technologies that we normally mention in or normally we may think of have and find an application inside arrays. So what is the goal here? On one side, bringing these technologies where they may have an impact in terms of learning outcomes. And here it is important to keep well in mind the KPIs that will be that are being determined and will be assessed as the project advanced. But there is also another problem that is creating the competences also to deliver. So not only training the students or the workers, but also training the trainers. So it becomes really a paradigm shift also for who delivers content, delivers knowledge, and this clearly needs to work, requires working with who has been working, who has been delivering content in a given way for in let's call it traditional, if we may, and understand where that content may be improved using a different paradigm. So this is another really important point of Upraise, because this is not a project that only considers the specific skill set. What it wants to do is actually have an impact also on those who will be working in the future with use of virtual worlds for delivery of educational pathways. Okay. So the objectives, we want to bridge the gap in emerging digital skills, as I mentioned, develop innovative educational programs, and these will be implemented in different higher education institutions I showed before, different universities, and deploy AI-driven learning infrastructure. So, for example, not considering only the educational pathways in universities that have a more traditional, perhaps at least organization. Here the idea is also of creating micro-credentials where it is possible to find the building block you need to fill the gap in your gap in education and use it. So also create a recommendation system that may help with choosing these educational pathways. Clearly, one central point here is the cooperation between academia and industry, and we believe, really believe that XR and virtual worlds can help this by nature, because it gives a spatial technology where it is possible to collaborate also remotely. So not only on the learning paths, but also thought as a collaborative platform. So just a few more words. I'll be closing, but I'm maybe at the limit of my time. So this is the timeline of the project. We will be finishing the project by end of 2029. We are on track so far, and next year we will be starting with the first educational pathways inside our institutions. These are the technologies that will be included in the educational pathways, as I said. And the education offer is quite ambitious because you see we have many bachelor programs, master programs, 3 MBAs across Europe. And we will be also supporting access to education with multiple scholarships. Um, on top of my head, I don't remember exactly, but we are in the order of hundreds of scholarships that will be offered by our institutions to encourage our students to take these educational pathways. As I was mentioning, we will be also working on micro-credentials for lifelong learners and how to implement lifelong learning using virtual worlds in order to not stop with the traditional educational pathway. Inside Appraise, we have a skills observatory who is working hard on understanding how the required skill sets is changing. We are working on a joint virtual world lab, and we have a stakeholder network who constantly helps us understanding how to adapt the educational content. Here you see a few numbers. I'm trying to close. Here we are. I got to the end of the presentation. Sorry, a few minutes beyond the time that was given. So thank you very much for your attention. Appraise is just concluding a very ambitious project. Please keep updated with it and feel free to write and to provide any contribution because this cannot but enrich this initiative. Thank you so much for your time and patience.
You're muted,
Yes.
Ioannis.
Yes, you're muted.
Apologies. So yes, indeed, thank you, Gustavo. Appraise is one of the digital academies that is being created, one of the goals of the European Union for the next years. And for sure, it's a project that is worth following. I will pass the floor to Marco Sacco with no further delays. Marco, please.
Hello, I hope you can hear me well. Let me see if I can control the slide. Yes. Okay, so very briefly, an introduction about myself. I mean, you see lots of ads. I'm, as Ioannis mentioned, research director at the National Research Council, the institute STEAM that I work on advanced manufacturing. And so you see that my experience come along several years, started very long ago in '94 with VR. And as you see now, there are several players in Europe that can indeed support what was mentioned. So jointly with the network, with the Prize project and all the other activity that the community is taking and doing. And this is the Virtual World Association. This is the association that did the co-programmed partnership with the Commission. I'm a member of the board. Of course, there are already other in European association like EuroXR. I was the former president and currently the vice president of the association. And this is the oldest European association on XR technology because we started in 2010. And now we are trying to build up also a local community in Italy called XR Italia, and there are some of the, let's say, Italian players that are trying to connect in this community. Why we are speaking that, of course, we have to teach the people, and this is because now we can definitely answer to this question, and we can say that definitely XR is ready for manufacturing and mature enough to be used. If I show what I was using in the 90s, beginning of the 90s, when I was started, there was, you see my, as I call it, my refrigerator was a silicon graphic machine. The company is not even longer on the market. There was a huge, powerful need at that time. You need really a refrigerator in order to have the power to do some activity. I will show you some pictures. Devices like the headset, very heavy, and or 3D projector, and all this was costing around 1 billion euro at the beginning of 90s. But now we have the possibility to do this. And I just mentioned few of the technology, but there are really lots of technology. And you can do the same thing or even better with 10 kilo euro, even less. And if you see, I mean, the head-mounted display market in billion, I mean, you see how it's really growing. But I mean, I would like to remind you what Gustavo said. XR adoption is not just buying an headset, but of course, I mean, the improvement of the technology, the devices, the computer, the graphics card, and the introduction of several technology, of course, make a lot of improvement in the development. This is what with the 1 billion euro machine and devices you can do in the early 90s. Was a part of a production system for the compressor of refrigerators of what today is the Electrolux company. Now at that day was a Zanussi company. And you can, of course, simulate some of the process. You see that the graphics and the quality is indeed very old, and also the resolution was very old. So you can imagine to say this with a headset at that time was also very annoying and creating a lot of cyber sickness. But then in the year we were able to go forward, and I mean, I just show one of the several systems that you can have today, and where you can have the design of a complete factory. You can integrate discrete event simulation for studying the throughput or the bottleneck of your system. You can integrate dynamic simulation and see how the different process go on. You can introduce a connection with any of the system that you have in your in your company. And this is, of course, is something that you can do mainly because you can integrate your process. In this case, I mean, in this example, you are able to generate the layout of the line. This is a part of a line of an Italian company, but the factory is in Poland. And at a certain point of time, there was a problem because the throughput expected that mainly drive the final payment by the customer was not reached, and there was almost impossible to understand which part of the process was not running properly. And at the end, include redesigning in a digital environment the whole system, and then integrating the simulation, some digital twins. Then he was able to understand that few milliseconds in a critical machine was the problem of not reaching the throughput. I mean, here is just express just a part of the line. So I mean, you have to imagine, of course, a complete line with several parallel processes and branches and so on. And so this is what you can do today. And I think the speaker after me will be able to present a lot of this example. As we mentioned, the adoption is not just using the excerpt. Of course, you need competencies, because at the end, what you need to reach is not just a virtual environment, but you need to establish what usually we can call the digital continuity. So, I mean, you need that all your information that are related to the process you would like to have in the virtual world should be connected and interoperable from concept to the operation, because you need to keep the coherence of all the information. Of course, and this is today's call a digital twin, you need the connection between the digital and the real part of your process. And of course, I mean, you need another dimension that is, I would say, the granularity of the world that you are looking at, because different user will use your virtual world, and each user has a different point of view and needs from that kind of virtual world. I mean, on the top, I mean, the factory maybe in the entire process is just for the operational director or the factory director. But then when you have a single operator, the maintenance operator, they would like to go down deeper in the machine, in the process, in the component, because they are interested to see the behavior and interact with that kind of level. So this is what means. I mean, when you create a virtual world to supporting some manufacturing process, but this is true also for the other sectors, so for healthcare, for cultural heritage, or other sector. I mean, you need all this information connected. So you need the digital continuity. And for this, I mean, at the end, what you can do today, I mean, just mention a few of this. You can do, of course, remote control or remote maintenance. You can do virtual prototype, or you can do layout planning. And I think some of the next presentation will show some example of this. And for all of this, I mean, of course, we need to teach the operator, and before we need to teach the teacher. So the trainer and the trainees need appropriate training, and we need appropriate tool and material for doing an appropriate teaching. So what we can, all this player that I mentioned at the beginning can do for this process is what has been created in the co-programmed partnership. In June last year, the Virtual World Association was created, and in December, the association signed the partnership with the European Commission. And now there is an ecosystem over all the other ecosystem that can collect input, knowledge, and make the network working even better, because we know very well, all the people that work in this sector knows our sector is very fragmented, reach of several companies, small company, startup, a small research group at university or in the research center, and it's very difficult to compete as an ecosystem with the other ecosystem in the US or in Asia. So this is the starting point to make these things appear, and how each of you can contribute, of course, is to, let's say, provide your input, your interest in the strategic research and innovation agenda. That is the main, let's say, entry point for providing input to the Commission for the future call and for future activity that are interest of the community. And again, I back to what Gustavo mentioned. We are not just speaking about the single technology, visualization, interaction in real time, and all this aspect, but there is also digital twins, AI, and all these aspects that are, of course, should be integrated. And as you can see in the vertical aspect that we treat in the strategic agenda, of course, you recognize all the sector, and on the horizontal, the connection with the technology, but also with all the aspects that you have to deal with when you introduce virtual world. That is mean cybersecurity, data privacy, and safety of your data, and all the other aspects related to sustainability and human rights, and all these aspects, because this is what means when you start to create a virtual world. And then just to give you some idea of what is going on in Europe and where you can, further than all the activity that Uprise project is doing and creating. Very soon, next week, there will be an international conference in south of Italy, Salento 2006. This is already several years that going on, and will be next year in Otranto. The week after in Salonico, there will be a summer school. So again, another opportunity maybe for me teacher. And of course, I try to make the connection because the Uprise project that was just presented is really a place where we can get the information for the lecture for the future summer school. Then I would like to remind all of you about the EuroXR conference in November. This is another place, and this year will be special because the whole XR community of Europe will be there, because not just the EuroXR conference, there will be also the annual event of the partnership. NEM, the community of multimedia, will be also there in that week. So from the 2nd to the 6th of November, the whole XR community from Europe will be there, and it's a great opportunity. And then, well, I see also some other several Italian people connected. Our Italian community will meet in November in Milano, and then we are going also to create an hackathon for the students, and this is also another opportunity. I would like to conclude with this, that I found very nice in internet. Please don't do like the guy on the right that always say is not the time, is not ready, I don't have the tools, I don't have the money, because at the end, and the last sketch will say it, there will be in the future someone will enjoy and make business on this technology, and you possibly just look from the window, or even from the even in this case. So thank you very much. I hope I was straight in my time. You have my contact information. So thank you for your attention.
Marco, thank you for providing this very nice also historical perspective of how we reached this point. And of course, all these scientific events and training opportunities are super important. Some of us will also attend, and we look forward to all the discussions that will take place. Now I would like to pass the floor to Alessandro Zara. He's the CEO of Experience. This is a high-tech startup that essentially helps industries on how to integrate XR and how to take advantage of XR into existing industrial cases. Alessandro, the floor is yours.
Hello, everybody. I hope you guys can hear me fine. I want to thank Gustavo and Marco for giving a very detailed overview of what the XR world is and what the challenges are, being that there are so many variables, so many players inside. So being able to transform this technology and add it into an industrial sector, let's say this, it's extremely hard, and there are many challenges. So just to give a brief overview of us, we are an XR startup focusing on the industrial sector. So what do we actually tackle? What problem do we actually solve? Being that there are many problems, as we saw in the previous presentations, there are many different use cases. Well, we concentrated on two in specific. So industrial machinery and lack of technical expertise, because nowadays industrial machineries are more and more complex, and yet there is an extremely growing lack of qualified technicians and tools to support them to react in time, and this costs clients and of course machine manufacturers thousands of euros in downtime. So what did we do and what do we propose as the solution? We created this XR-powered remote maintenance and quality control and training platform that basically gives the remote technician the eyes and the space and the hands of the operator in XR. This directly turns anyone into a qualified technician and creates new revenue opportunities also for the machine manufacturer. So just to give a brief overview of who we are an XR startup. We're a spin-off of Politecnico di Milano, and we mainly work in the northern part of Italy, central north, being that there is the most concentration of machine manufacturers, so OEMs. We have a few recognitions. We're in the NVIDIA program. We were awarded to be one of the 300 most innovative startups in Italy, and we also won the S2P, the Switch to Product Innovation Challenge. So this is a brief overview of our platform. As you can see, I don't think it's too complicated, that diagram, but it contains multiple layers, multiple features, because as we saw before, there are a lot of different challenges and a lot of different needs that a single industrial player would need in order to solve this type of problem. So it is not just a one-shot, one-feature platform and application, but it has multiple layers to it. As you can see, we have a lot of XR side features. We also have a lot of website features. So we have seen that we had to basically separate the different layers and different features for the different players that are involved in these types of processes and these types of industries. So we have the XR side features mainly for the industrial operators, so the people that actually have and need to work with the XR device, with the headset, with any device available. Then we have the website features that are for the remote technician. So we need to also enable, in a more simplistic manner, some features to be able to be controlled by a remote expert, someone who does not effectively need to have the XR device on head. And then, of course, we have AI features. These are not AI features that completely disrupt and make the core product. These are AI features that enhance the XR capabilities of that person. So they are very interconnected, as we saw before. It is a very difficult challenge, and it's very difficult from a technical standpoint. But what we try to do with this platform is to do everything in the background to be able to give these players the most simplistic but most effective tool possible, because we had the challenge to bring a extremely complex technology in a sector that did not need any more complex integrations or complex technologies to further, let's say, impact the operational efficiency of the people working in it. What we saw was that with this tool, we could reduce basically maintenance intervention costs by up to 60%. Let's just think about in a traditional manner where people, let's say the end client that have the machinery, they had a minimal problem, which could be a wrongly turned valve, which could be basically also the wrong setup configuration for a determined product. Every single type of problem, they did not have the knowledge to solve it. They did not know what to do and how to do it. So they harassed the OEM. And this is a very big problem because OEMs then have to have enormous customer support teams, so assistance teams, to support clients in every minimal problem. And most of the time, these problems aren't able to be solved remotely using the tools that are currently available. And this is something that every single client that we work with has told us, that their teams would have to spend 4 hours a day to deal with one client to just find out that it was a wrongly turned valve. And most of the time, they also had to organize transfers to go to the clients and be able to troubleshoot the problem correctly and understand, okay, it's a wrongly turned valve. So there was a waste, and there is still a waste of resources, and both in time and money, that our tool solves by giving, of course, the remote technician not just the eyes, but also the eyes, the hands, and the space of the operator to work with. So what we give our clients goes way beyond a hands-free video. So this is a very important thing to note. So all the complex technology that goes behind it makes it so the OEM has a way to be, let's say, digitally but physically present at the client's in the client's warehouse and space. As we saw before, also in the other presentations, there are a lot of different applications. I've briefly written out the 4 main concrete applications that 95% of our clients use this tool for, so use XR for. The first one, of course, being remote maintenance, so real-time guidance, first-time fix improvements, of course, it reduces travel costs, downtime, then quality assurance and troubleshooting, which helps a lot because it gives visual inspection workflows. We have also computer vision assisted checks and standardized procedures. Then, of course, we have immersive training, which is used a lot as well for faster onboarding, because by giving a person a tool that lets him visualize step by step what he or she has to do on that machine, given a determined problem, that helps him or her learn much faster and have the digital footprint of that assisted event as well. Then we have advanced technical collaboration. So we can also have, as we saw before, so digital collaboration and cross-site engineering reviews. And this, of course, leads to reduced communication errors as well. What I wanted to showcase today mainly was the packaging industry use case. Why this? Because we saw that this is our, let's say, ideal client, because the type of machineries that they produce with their complexity face a lot of different challenges that are all solved using XR technology. So these 3 that I've written out are the 3 main ones, which is format changes. Let's say the machineries, the packaging lines are made to be able to handle different types of packages and different type of products. But of course, these products and these different configurations need format changes, so manual changes to the machine itself, which require, of course, manual labor and knowledge on how to do these. Then we have expert availabilities, which are, of course, a problem with over 80% of the industrial sector. And of course, knowledge transfer, being that the client operators change on, let's say, a weekly basis, not having also a digital footprint of what has been done and who has done it and why and which procedure turns also into a very big problem for the OEM, because they have to deal with a new person every single time and have to teach that person something that they have done every single week. So I will show two videos that we, of course, did with this client, where we see in concrete the applications of the different XR functionalities. Let me know if you guys can. I hope you guys can see the video. So here we have the technician, so the website platform, where the technician has the possibility to upload the CAD files. So effectively create a minimal version of a digital twin that later can be extremely helpful in conveying information to the operator, because now we don't just tell him what to do and how to do it, but we show the operator directly on the machine itself the sequence of workflow or the sequence of assistance that has to be done. Here we can see the operator scanning the machine QR code, so connecting directly with the problem. Of course, here we can see also the AI assisted part, where the operator has the possibility to interact in a first moment with a digital version, let's say, of the technician. And here we see pre-configured workflows directly in the XR space, so the user can, of course, directly interact with them and have this information in a much faster, much more simple way. Then here we have the part that solves all of the digitalization, let's say, of the information. Once the operator has done a task or has been assisted on a task, we've created this algorithm that, based on the information of the video, based on the information of the XR space, and anything else that the XR device can sense, we analyze the video, we extrapolate a report with the different procedures, and we then give it back to the system in order for the company to always have a digitalized version also of the procedures, even if they weren't, let's say, pre-uploaded or pre-configured. This way, it helps a lot for not only the OEM, but also for the client company, that they can do, let's say, one procedure and have that one done via remote technician and have them guided. The next time that they have a same problem or a similar problem, they don't need to call the technician, the remote technician, and wait for their response and be at the OEM's time. They can directly access that information via the XR space, utilizing AI as well. Then here we have another one where we can see the direct collaboration. So this arrow, being a simple arrow, for example, is an arrow placed by a remote technician on a tablet. So, and this arrow is fixed onto the real space, so it's exactly on top of the bolt that the technician has to take out. The operator has to take out, sorry. So here we see how, of course, the remote technician can collaborate with the operator. And here also, for this particular client, they had a problem that their clients, when doing format changes, made some certain changes in inserted products or components that weren't exactly of the same dimension that they have to be, with, let's say, a tolerance of about 5 to 6 millimeter difference. So what this application also can do is utilizing also depth perspection from the XR device and markers. We can estimate also the dimension of any component in order for it to be a much faster troubleshooting experience. And then here we can see, in effect, how the technician can directly manipulate the scene and the machine of the operator. So in here, we just saw we're seeing that the remote technician is manipulating the 3D model, and the operator does not see a separate component, a separate 3D model. He sees directly the component onto the machine. So this, in this here also, we can see the different levels of interaction with the 3D model. So before we saw the highlighting of components, and now we're seeing the manipulation of components. So here we can tell, okay, you need to take out this component exactly in this manner, how to do it, when to do it, and do it step by step. So by doing this, we simplify at max how complex information is given to a less qualified operator, and received in a way that they themselves can understand, visualize, and learn, of course, but also resolve the problem as soon as possible. So by doing this, with this client, format changes assistance requests dropped by 70%. So they didn't have clients calling them 8-7 times a day, asking them to help with configuring the machine with the new, of course, format change. Troubleshooting speed increased by 80%, and of course, decreased onboarding time by 70% as well. And what we pride ourselves is we give a tool to enhance operational efficiency. So we give a tool that helps human become more efficient and work better and smarter, not just to replace human workforce. I hope this was interesting enough to give you a overview of how XR can be concretely implemented in industrial use cases and in real case scenarios. And if you need any help or have any questions, these are our contacts, and feel free.
Alessandro, that was really great. Thank you. Especially the use case that you showed us was super clear, and indeed, I think it presents in a clear way the benefits. Thank you, Alessandro.
Thank you.
I think now it's the time to move on to Thierry from Ensan. Thierry, do you want to take the floor?
Yes, thank you so much, Ioannis. So I'm very happy to be among you, and what's easy when you are not the first or second presenter, that's so many things that have been said that I can quickly go on it and save a little time and be more shortened than the 15 minutes that was scheduled. I'm Thierry Kostielniak. I'm a strategic advisor at ENSAM, which is the Arts-et-Métiers Institute of Technology in France. So Arts-et-Métiers is not part of Upraise, but I'm very happy to have been invited to be in the advisory board, and this is the connection with the project. So presently I'm a member, and Ioannis, you said I moved my nickname from Mr. Metaversité to Virtual Worlds Dweller, which is more appropriate. A lot of connection with different networks. And so I'm here because I'm a strategic advisor at the Arts et Métiers, also president of the France Immersive Learning Association, which are more than 70 stakeholders in France, from producers to end users. And especially I wanted to pin out that now I'm a technical manager of Vivas, the Virtual World Academy of Skills, which is a kind of project, European sister project of Appraise. And that will be very interesting to build bonds all together. So I'm working in Paris, and you see the nice building, old building, because Arts et Métiers was founded before the French Revolution. So this is just for your information, because you may not be familiar in the French education system, and there are universities, and beside there are School of Engineering, College of Engineering, and Arts et Métiers is one of the most prestigious ones. So our specificity is we have 9 campuses all over France, and the latest even in Morocco. And we have 2 XR research institutes which have been working on immersive technology for more than 25 years now, and 2 master degrees in mastering innovative and innovation immersive technologies. So our master strategic program is called the Evolutive Learning Factories, which are the factory school of the future. And what I'm going to present to you is how we foster XR into the education of Arts et Métiers Institute of Technology within this structuring program. So if you have to remember something of what I will say is these next 2 slides, and all the other stuff are examples to foster who are the 3 actors of an education-based XR pathway. Definitely, you have the end users, I mean, the people that are trained, the student, but there are also the hardware manufacturer and the software developers. And if we don't take into account what we are working for, we are developing as courses for the end users, we have to take into account deployment of immersive technology, which is still quite complicated if you take into consideration using audiovisual technology or different technology like learning management system platform as digital tools for teaching and learning. So immersive technology has to take into account these 3 actors, and definitely we have to use headsets and glasses that are continuously changing. Every 6 months you have a new model, you have new feature, you have, of course, raise of the features on this. But nowadays there are some problems with the decision makers, for example, that a whole set of a product can be stopped. And everybody has been really upset with Microsoft stopping HoloLens program, for example. And this is now very damageable for the community and the stakeholders to explain that, okay, we are working on this kind of hardware. Are you sure? And this is a question of the decision maker. Are you sure this hardware may be still maintained in the next 5, 6, or 10 years? And for the software developers, the question is also being sure. We are working on software which are European compatible. I mean, of course, they have to be GDPR. They have to work now in the European space as tools that are sustainable, and we have to look now for the European sovereignty. This is the main topics we all have now in mind when we are choosing software. And for the end users, that was something that was already said by Gustavo, that train the trainers is absolutely fundamental, and not only train them, but also involve the trainer when you start the project. So a project that has been decided in a lab and decided with a company without being sure that the feature are the requirement from the teachers and the trainers, it sometimes it failed just because the trainer says, no, I don't really see the advantages. I have to spend a lot of time to use these devices, and then you are stuck. So that's really important, and this is a clear message. I wanted to tell you that adoption of new immersive learning pathways has to take into account that the trainers are really involved from the very beginning of developing any new piece of software or any new courses. So I wanted to testimony the dynamic part of the French industrial industry on using XR. So we have XR days, which are based near Lyon every year. And my friend from the La Ruche Industrielle are inviting all the French industrial that are using immersive technology to show and to really have showcases in France. So it's not an event with a stand with the company that are the technological company that are showcasing, showing the feature of their product. These are really stands with the industrial showcases, use cases. So here you see most of the names of very active French stakeholders. And as Marco said, the Virtual World Association is a new community which is really important. We have also members of France Immersive Learning like Immersion, which is also a member of the board of the Virtual World Association. And as you can see, as an academic partner, Art et Métier is among this, and you can note also that CER is one of them too, CEA. So I just also wanted to pin out a nice acronym, which is rolling the dice. And you know that Einstein said God is not playing with dice, but we are doing that at XR. Dice is really important because immersive technology lets us and lets the trainees do something dangerous, something impossible, something that may be counterproductive and also expensive. So this is the real feature and the real topics that makes people understand why they are using XR in the industry. And definitely, Alessandro show us with the Experience platform that they are using this for example, counterproductive. That means you can train without shutting the production line for a long time and so on. AI, and again, Alessandro show us, is an accelerator, and not a competitor to the XR industry, especially for the innovation budget. We are really having AI as an accelerator for building new experience, for any piece of software that needs development. And of course, we all know that AI is gaining so much time for developers, and even people without development ability can use and can develop some piece of no-code feature. I wanted also to tell you about a big project that lasted 4 years and ended last October, called Jenny, for immersive digital teaching twins. I work with my colleague from 3 other institutions on designing digital twins, not for industrial purpose, but really for teaching purpose. So you will find on the QR code the white paper, which is speaking a lot about the pedagogical pathways that we worked on, and there was a lot of work on how are we designing courses on digital twins using virtual reality. So these are the example of all the digital twins that has been developed within the Jenny project. And I will focus on this one, which is the forge. So as you can see, this is the real life with the forge we have one in Metz in the east of France, another one also in the south. And a forge is really impressive to see. They call them the fire worker, and they are pressing this small metal device and then making a pancake out of it. And of course, it seems simple, but there's a lot of science within what is going on, because it depends, of course, of the metal, depends on how the heat is done. And we are training our students on this industrial machine. And what is important is these machines are also used for research. So a lot of captors, a lot of data are used to understand better the science within this machine. So from this forge, we did the digital twins. And sorry, because this video was not really designed for showing, but it shows you the security issues. You have to wear all this stuff. Sorry, because it's going sometimes a little bit fast. So you can do things impossible, which is, for example, raising the temperature from 0 to more than 1000 degrees Celsius in a few seconds. It takes hours. So you have to manipulate the small lingots, heat it. Of course, it's going so fast, and you are making the right gesture in front of the digital twin. And then you can control and see all the parameters that are strictly the same than in the real machine. And then you did it. So the fire is not so impressive than in the reality, but this is really working. So I'm going a little bit faster to show you that, for example, we can do something which is impossible, which is, for example, looking at the inner structure of the cutting the inner structure of the machine. So impossible means you can see what is within the machine and understand how it's actually really working. So on the next slide, we are now disseminating this digital twins courses in 2 European projects. One is IDT for EU, Immersive Digital Twins for EU, 5 partners in Erasmus+. So we have Polimi with us, with the University of Politics of Warsaw. and also the kickoff of Virtual World Academy of Skills happens 2 weeks ago in Paris, and Sapienza is of course one of our partners, and we are also looking for building a catalog of courses and disseminating courses all among Europe. And of course, a lot of synergy with Upraise is to be ready. Just a few words as the president of France Immersive Learning. We did some things with people that need to know what is immersive learning. Everything you want to know is in this guide, and the QR code will goes to the English version of the guide. So I'm very happy to be able to share with you this guide that has been done already more than 1.5 years ago, but still there are some very interesting experience in it. So my pleasure to share it with you. So thank you for your attention, and we can of course connect on LinkedIn, and as you can see, among being president of France Immersive Learning, this association is the founder of the National Council of XR, CNXR, and also a founding member of XR for Europe. So that's go for Europe. If I have an advice to tell you, this is the most important message for this presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Thierry. It was indeed really interesting. Again, seeing how XR can be used in practice, of course, within a learning environment, but still very interesting how all these DICE properties that you mentioned are visible in this video that you showed us. So I will let the second Alessandro of the webinar to take the floor, which is the last presentation for our webinar. We are slightly behind time, but I think that we will manage. Alessandro, please, with no further delay.
So, thank you, Ioannis, and good morning, everyone. So, I'm Alessandro Pollini. I'm here representing Sapienza Design Research together with Ioannis. And already here in this, from the previous speakers, we had a glimpse of what we have developed so far together with Ioannis and other colleagues, course, postgraduate course, which is called XR-driven Design Thinking and Innovation course. And already from the first speaker, Gustavo, we started talking about skills, required skills for managing XR innovation. And he was talking and presenting the Uprise skill observatory. And I was so glad to see this initiative. I guess that all of us engaged with the university teaching and academia have privileged settings for observe the skills, the required skills to creating an innovation in field and know-how transfer to industries. And these courses wants really to foster this innovation again in education. So by bringing extended reality technologies and design thinking principle together, we made this effort together with AET Manufacturing South to create an interdisciplinary, multidisciplinary approach, educational approach, since we leverage XR technology in innovation-driven context, but by starting from innovation culture in industry by integrating design and design approaches, not only design thinking, but design doing, as many colleagues are claiming these years. So also integrating a real design practice, design of scenarios, interaction scenarios, interfaces, and concepts based on research, based on real use case and real industrial use cases. This course is designed to award 10 ECTS credits for including 80 hours of live online sessions and 3 optional in-person innovation studios that I will present later. And with this educational initiative, with this course, we want to target, of course, people from industries, and in particular from manufacturing industries, but not limited to that, since this course is to bridge that skill gap we have today. And so we target both people from innovation companies and like R&D managers or entrepreneurs and startup founders, as well as consultants, freelancers, and of course recent graduates from our courses. The course will be held in English and it will be open to all participants from all over the world. So this is basically the learning journey overview with the different disciplines integrating in the approach. First, digital entrepreneurship and innovation, as I said, to spread innovation culture, a real innovation culture with the help of technology. Second is the human-centered design for extended reality, since we integrate into this course also ergonomics, cognitive psychology, and user research, field research. Third is about XR technologies and tools, so meaning that there will be, of course, the need of fostering programming skills, modeling skills, and basic software integration skills, of course. Otherwise, it will be without the core engine of the scenario, of the XR scenario. And then we go on with the fourth unit with evaluation and impact assessment. The course wants really to provide the skills to assess and evaluate what is happening with XR technologies, especially in training situation. We talked a lot about training, trainers, and we would like to also work together with impact assessment. And of course, in the perspective of business case studies, since one of the main feature of this course is about working with real hands-on approaches to individual projects. So project work is actually the core of this proposal, since we would like, starting from the beginning, from a design concept, to work towards minimum viable product, so with a rapid prototyping approach during these 16 weeks, to have, in order to have an XR-based prototype to test with. So every student, every participant will develop his own prototype, test his own prototype, and change through those through this journey. And of course, learning also to how to document these, the design, the development, the research, and the market process behind. I already mentioned the innovation studios. This was a really cool idea within our course design, meaning that we believed that in this online distance teaching course, there will be the need and the opportunity to have also some opportunities for practice-oriented workshop. So having on-site workshop, the so-called innovation studios that are optional. We don't want to force anyone to attend, but those are a pretty a relevant part of our education approach, where to advance technical competencies, but also to spend time together and to face real problems. Of course, with the help of the teachers, of the mentors, and all the technical experts. And yes, this is the link where you can find out more information, technical description, and also the condition for enrolling into this course and to widespread this course. Thank you very much.
Alessandro, thank you. That was indeed a very, very fast presentation, quickly highlighting this new advanced course. This brings us to the end of today's session. I would like to thank all of our speakers for such a rich set of perspectives. It is really interesting going back through all these presentations, how much ground we've covered, and above all, how connected it all is. So we heard about the evolution of XR, the role of research communities and associations in driving it forward. The situation, the focus was in Italy, also in France, but of course this is a much broader. There is a European dimension. We saw a very practical, real-world example from a startup showing what XR delivers on the ground today. And of course, we also saw how XR can reshape education and skills, how it can prepare people, also the educators, how to lead innovation rather than just adopt the technology. So I think there's a clear story here. I hope everyone now understands that XR has moved beyond experimentation. These are just some use cases. There are many other possibilities available. Talent are maturing, the talent that are being used, they are maturing, and essentially we are in this very, very interesting intersection. I hope that this webinar sparked your interest. Warmly encourage you to explore the course, the material presented, the projects, the community, stay connected. And above all, I would like to thank the Upraise project for organizing this. And yes, that's it. Thank you all, and goodbye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Goodbye. Thank you very
so
much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.